Views expressed in the videos are my observation, analysis of events, persons based on principles of astrology. It's not my intent to predict, forecast absolute outcomes, only suggest how they may unfold. Nothing is set in stone. I could be wrong, but often I'm right. My desire is not to promote fear, only inform about what we see unfolding. It is our wish to prepare our subscribers for events that could affect them, their family, their goals, and their future, to help to prepare for what you may already suspect is happening, and to send a warning shot across the bow and raise a flag of concern. Our goal is to help, not hinder, in these perilous times, to inspire and offer possible direction, and to reveal that a greater plan and purpose are behind all that is happening. Eventually, we will see a brighter day. If you would like to show your appreciation for our work on these videos or this channel, and also the Knowing Whispers channel, you can always click on the word thanks at the bottom of all the videos. Hello everybody, it's Robert Cosmar again of the Astrology of Life YouTube channel and the 3 Substack newsletters, Knowing Whispers, Messages from the Universe, Trump in America, and Ask the Astrologer. Today I'm going to be doing a speculative video, and what I mean by that word speculative is that the information that I'm sharing with you is not real easy to validate because of the nature of what it is that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Arabic parts in Trump's horoscope. And if you haven't known about the Arabic parts, they are points in a horoscope that are calculated in some cases from the ascendant. In other cases, they are from the positions of planets, certain planets in the person's horoscope. And they reveal some very interesting potential for circumstances that could occur in a person's life. All right. Now, there hasn't been a great deal of work done on these. There's a few books out there. I think Robert Zoller has a real good one that definitively discuss these parts, the Arabic parts, in great length. And of course, they seem to have been something that was added years after, the Greeks and the Romans had worked with astrology. The Arabs, the Persians began to come in, and they found other interesting scenarios in the horoscopes of people, and were able to validate that. And there are quite a lot of them. And it's interesting here from the standpoint of Donald Trump. Now, you may or may not know that Donald Trump has had like 4 or 5 assassination attempts. A couple of those were poisonings. Others were people who had kind of lost their mind, that type of thing. But I think that there's something that's interesting here for a couple of reasons. Number one, when a person like Adolf Hitler, when a person like Saddam Hussein, when a person like Joseph Stalin, people of this particular caliber, dictators, okay, those that are of a dark path that want to seize control and power, ultimately, the end result is, in some form or another, it's death or destruction, okay? I feel that Donald Trump ultimately will self-destruct because that's kind of the core of what he's all about. And you see this pattern in the people that have suffered who have followed him. And I've mentioned many times he's kind of an angel of death, and I wasn't really just kidding about that. Okay? I was essentially saying that we have an individual that has embraced some of the dark qualities of the universal dark energy. All right? And obviously, he's able to accomplish certain things. But ultimately, they don't last. Okay? Because you could say good overcomes evil, or you could say that the intent of the universe is for the evolution to higher conscious states versus those who would dive deeply into the darkness and want to remain there. Okay, heaven and hell concept. So I think this will be interesting to you. Okay, and I'll try to explain why I caught this. All right, over here on this side of Donald Trump's chart. All right, this was done for July the 3rd, 2024. And I did this for a year in advance to July something 2025. Okay. And think of this in terms of either Donald Trump being president or him not being president. It doesn't really matter. Okay. But the interesting thing is that about a degree off of his seventh house cusp, the part of fortune, okay, for violence and murder, they're both very close to one another, almost exactly the same, and they're conjunct to that seventh house cusp of other people. Okay? Now, by itself, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but if you throw some other factors into it, it could mean a lot. And what you don't see here, okay, because I don't have this calculated for July the 5th, let's say, of 2025, is that at about that time, or a little before then, Uranus up here in his 10th house will square these parts. Okay, exactly square them. All right. Some of the old astrologers have written books about the descendant and aspects to it. I can only remember one that I've ever come across. All right. So again, there's not a lot of information on here, and that's why I'm saying speculative. All right, a little bit of analysis, a lot of speculation. Okay, we know that by the end of this month, Uranus is going to square Donald Trump's Mars. This is not a good aspect for him at this particular time, with him rolling and everything looking good, and he's even quiet because he's letting Biden and the Democrats fight out who's going to end up being the presidential nominee. Okay? But this square of Uranus squaring his Mars will be significant. It could be an accident. It could be a wound. It could be a mistake that he makes. He gets hurt. It is something where Uranus goes back and forth, retrograde and forward, and there are two other times when this hits exact. One, I think, is maybe in December, something like that, and the other one is in January. All right. So this could be a very serious injury to him, or it could be a legal blow, because I've mentioned this before in other videos. Uranus rules both the house of his health and also the house of his relationships with others. Okay? And Mars rules his ninth house, which has to do with legal matters. All right. So they're in adverse aspect, and it will involve in some way, shape, or form these houses. Okay. So keep that in mind, in the back of your mind. Okay. Keep in your mind that sometime down the road in 2025, Uranus is going to make that square aspect to this Arabic part right here, these two Arabic parts. Also keep into mind that while this is happening, okay, Pluto will have entered into his first house. Okay? One other thing to consider, okay, that I've talked about this before too, at about the same time these factors are going on, this position of Pluto in his 12th house is being aspected by the progression of his midheaven. All right, his career, his profession, his work, okay, his identity. So you have these speculative factors here that often astrologers on a day-to-day basis look for because they are indicating the buildup of something, and they can particularly now in the circumstances we're dealing with, be of much interest to everybody. So this is kind of what I'm laying out here before you, that there is something down the horizon that people have, I think, insinuated about. There have been maybe some psychics and astrologers that have talked about Trump's health and about, maybe a life and death type scenario. And it wouldn't surprise me, okay? It would not surprise me. because the worst case scenario would be for him to bring that dark energy into the presidency, into the White House, and then to unleash the vengeance that he has buried within him. Okay, to unleash it, and he will unleash it. And as I've said before, talking about the Mars-Pluto opposition during the election, it will not be a peaceful transition. It will not be a peaceful election. Okay, it's hard to say how extreme things will get, how far-reaching it'll be, but again, this is one of those things where you got to buckle up your seatbelts. Okay, stay deeply centered in your own conscious awareness. Okay, so that you won't be shook by things that seemingly are happening out of control. Okay. All right. Again, this is my second video today. All right. I think I didn't put in the clothing or the outside stuff that I put on my other video. I just popped it out there because I wanted to do this one too. And I think I'll probably put that information on this next one here. But again, for those of you that are subscribers and members, thank you for your support. For those of you who make donations, thank you very much for your help. It is appreciated. And don't forget, my partner CJ also has 2 newsletters in Substack. One is called CJ's World. The other one is CJ's Whispers of Knowing, which is what her guidance is giving her as well. Okay, it's good stuff. It's encouraging, it is supportive, it'll make you feel good in your heart about who you are. Okay, and from the love of my life, CJ, my spiritual partner, my best friend, okay, we want to thank you. Riri wants to thank you. Okay, she's still behind me back here, hasn't barked or done anything. And we look forward to doing a video more in depth, I think, on Kamala Harris as time moves forward. Sometimes I have to change these things based upon the feel of what's pertinent at a given time, okay, because that's what's interesting to people, okay, and it's what I feel like I need to do. Okay, so thank you all, and next week we'll get back on track, I think. Bye.